Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Dr. Music Podcast, where today my special guest is Mr. Stan Lynch. Most of you will probably know Stan as the original drummer for Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, of course, where he spent nearly 20 years. He is a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He has worked with such iconic artists as Don Henley and the Eagles, Ringo Starr, Aretha Franklin, John Mellencamp, Stevie Nicks. The list goes on and on and on. Stan now celebrating a new band and a new record. That's right, a new band. The band is called The Speaker Wars, and their self titled album comes out May 30th on Frontiers Music. Stan Lynch, it is an absolute honor, sir.
Thank you very much for that. Very generous. Appreciate it.
It's incredible what you've done and continue to do. We're so grateful to still have you here making music, man. And this new record's fantastic.
I take nothing for granted. Yeah. Like, the bottom line is I've been really lucky. This is all I've ever had to do since I was 15 years old. I've been in bands my whole life and get to make music. And so I just feel extremely fortunate that this is what I can still do. I can wake up in the morning and there's, a place to go and guys to play with. And it's really been lovely.
Man, and you say guys to play with, and not just musicians. They're friends, aren't they? It seems the Tom Petty Heartbreakers, the Heartbreakers were family, and this kind of seems the same. When I look at that picture, it looks like a family photo.
It's really been lucky for me. It's that this has been my social life too, my whole life. That the guys that I get along with, I mean, I'm talking all the way since I was a little boy to today. It always starts with that common interest. Like it starts with this is what we like. We like this kind of music. We like, and it's just always been that way. You meet people and you feel a commonality and a kinship with them and you move forward. And I love that about my old band. They were my brothers. They protected me, they raised me. And now it's sort of like I get to be maybe the older brother to these guys in this band. I have, I maybe know a few things they don't, but it's lovely. And I just really enjoy the camaraderie. And everyone I've ever gotten to work with, it's pretty much been a friend first.
Ah, man, that's great. And that I think it comes through in the music. I think you hear that there's a there's a gelling, there's a glue that holds together a band when they like they like to be in the same room.
Well, you want to please them.
Yeah.
That's generally if you're in a room with guys you respect and enjoy, you try to knock them out. You
Right.
try to get them off. And that was the way it was with Tom and the guys, was that, I really wanted those guys, I wanted to impress them. And and that's what comes through is there's a sense of excitement and bonding you hear in music with people that actually like each other and they have a history and there's humor and there's backstory and
Right.
there's a lot of levels to this. And you know, bands can be very frustrating and at the same time they can be really exciting. And I I really I'm thrilled to be in one.
Yeah, and it's cool to see you in one again. Why do a band project at this point? You just missed the drama or what?
Well, why not?
Okay.
It's like, it's like, well, you still can and you want to.
Yeah.
Um, you may as well do. I mean, and also John, the singer in the band, John Davis, bothered me about it for so long during COVID. He kept saying, like, you should get behind the kit and play. And I'm like, blah, blah. And when we all got together in Texas and he had most of these guys in his posse already. And so when I sat down to play with him, it was very natural and fun. And so that's a long version, but the short version of why be in a band is why do it is because it's entertaining and it's something to do that makes you laugh, keeps you going.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. What's the writing process for you guys? I mean, I know you like that in the same room thing. It's you don't like to file share as much, and the hey, I got something here, and there's you like that camaraderie. Is it the same with the writing process? Do you guys get together and write, or
John and I?
or anybody in the band? How's the writing process work for you guys?
Well, mostly it's been John and I right now because most of the material came together before the band actually came. We wanted to go to a band with material. We didn't want to just walk into a room and go, "Hey." So you walk in with something in your quiver, And so John and I would get together actually for a while. We've known each other, and he would come to. I have a studio in Florida, and he would come down and we would sort of shack up and let it organically evolve. Like he's probably better at writing for a purpose. I just like to write. So I'll write any, if it's a gospel song, I'm fine. I don't have a genre or a specific thing in mind. I just want to hear the song come out by the end of a couple of days. I love push and play and going, wow, look what happened.
Yeah.
So I'll just follow my bliss like an idiot around the room. John is a little more purposeful in his writing. And that's probably good because he keeps it focused to what he's wants to sing. He's a singer.
Yeah.
So a song ultimately is, I believe, is written at the microphone when the singer, that's where the rubber hits the road.
Yeah.
And I've seen that with most of the artists I respect and I've gotten to work with. It's all fine and well on paper,
Right.
but when you get to the microphone and you say, that's when you go, man, it doesn't feel right, or it's just not me, or I got to take this one apart. So uh, having someone focused is good because
Yeah.
I just love to make noise,
Right.
you know.
Well, you're a drummer. Come on.
Yeah, I love it. I just want to make, I just want to hear at the end of the day, like, hey man, or when I walk in the next morning is pretty much realistic. Like I'll go, I wonder what we did yesterday. We sure went down a rabbit hole for hours. It was so much fun. It was like catnip. The next morning you get in there and you have a cup of coffee, you push play and you go, wow, didn't see that one coming.
Yeah,
So
that's cool.
it's an out of body experience to be creative. It I don't know where, it's just really enjoyable.
Yeah. It's great to hear still. Because I think a lot of veterans been playing a while, or they burn out a little bit, and it's not fun anymore. So it's great to hear that you're still enjoying what you do. How'd you record this stuff? Like I say, I know you like being in the same room. Did you record as a band? Was it a kind of a live recording and a couple takes, or did you send files along?
All of the above. It
Okay.
was, the a lot of the work came together during COVID.
Yeah.
And as you well know, we all know during COVID, that first few months we were setting our laundry on fire. You know what I mean? Literally, we were burning
Yeah.
groceries. We didn't know what to do, whether so we all went to our private corners in survival mode. And then after a few months, I remember like a lot of my creative buddies all went like, well, what the heck are we going to do? I mean, we can't, if this is how we're going out, listen, at least I got to go out with a purpose. So we all started working, and that's when most of my musician friends became better engineers. We all learned
All
to
right.
file. We didn't have the ability to go in the recording studio, and I didn't have access to an engineer. So man, the frustration and the learning curve was
Oh,
insane during that time.
I bet.
Um, I, in a weird way, I won't say I liked it because that's the wrong way to couch it,
Yeah.
but I found the whole experience very satisfying. That to be here's what I'm actually capable of now as
Right.
as one guy in a room. You had to, and then John was my first. Um, we all got our shots and our tests, and he would come over. He would come down to Florida with me and still work with me during that time. So we built most of this material during COVID. And then as we got more comfortable, we would come to Texas off the floor. And so it was a combo plate. And it was
Yeah.
like a lot of people, I was very grateful to have uh that that on my radar during, and we it's easy to forget we were all scared and we were all, you know, thrilled to have something to do that was positive.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And this is positive, really positive, man. Um y- y- Location. You recorded in Texas, right? You still with me?
Some of it, yeah,
Yeah,
we
okay.
recorded a lot of it down here in my place too.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
recorded a lot of it here in Florida, a lot of it there.
yeah, I feel like the spirit of Texas is kind of in this record. Does the location play a role when you're recording?
Um, Comfort plays the role.
Yeah.
You know, so being in Texas was really comfortable for me. You know, I have friends there, I have family there. So that's what's important. Being when I'm in Florida, of course I'm very comfortable because I'm home. You know,
Right.
I walk across the street to the studio. It's like
Yeah.
can't get any easier. So that's the most important thing now is to take uh the formality out of recording. What, it used to be like, man, you go to the studio, the clock's running, there's
Right.
three engineers, eight, there's costs, you can just hear the clock ticking, and
Yeah.
I like I learned the discipline of recording from that era, but I love the comfort of walking outside and, I don't have to, it's just, yeah, but Texas is great because the guys are comfortable and,
Yeah.
it all helps, and we're Southern boys. So we
Yeah.
kind of in our element.
Yeah. And I think it comes through in the record for sure. And I got the press release for the record, and I half expected to see feature spots from some of your old Heartbreaker buddies, Benmont or Mike or even Ron. Did you ask or consider having them on the record?
I would love to play with those guys and have them on the record. They are so busy,
Yeah,
and
which
it
is
would
great.
almost be like I would it would felt like I didn't want to give them any more obligations.
Okay. Yeah.
Ben's making or has just released his solo record. It's fantastic. He's busy. He's got family and a kid, and I like the last thing I need to do is say like, "Hey, man, you got to," And Mike, with the knobs and with he's a he I spent a little time with him on the road a couple
Yep.
years ago,
Yeah,
and
with the knobs.
yeah, and his schedule is he's man, you could see it.
Yeah.
We're all busy guys,
Yeah.
it's like, but yeah, nothing would make me happier. And I'm hoping that as we're all working, we're all doing our thing, maybe we'll find some common interests. That would be really nice if we all heard the right song or one of us comes up with the right thing and says, "Hey, want to get in a room and rumble?"
Yeah.
Because that's still a pretty sacred place.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Yeah, I have nothing but romantic desire to see those four guys in a room and
Yeah.
make noise because that's a boy, talk about falling off a log easy. Those
Yeah.
four guys make a hell of a noise when they get together. It's
Yeah.
great.
It's pretty awesome. Yeah, no doubt. You got a song on the new record called When the Moon Cries Wolf, and it just blows me away, man. The dirty guitar solo, the Hammond, you got that Hammond whine going in there, and the soulful singers, horns. Uh, Big horns on that record. Now I know you did Dead Man's Hand with Anthony Corder from Tora Tora.
Oh yeah, wow, that's
Yeah.
going back. Cool.
Yeah. They're Wild America. I used to love that record. Memphis Horns. on that song. Who's playing horns on this tune?
That's John's posse. That's John Davis.
Yeah,
He actually, this is where we work really well. Like we'll listen to a song. We'd all go, well, here we got it this far. Is this we don't even know which songs are contenders, when we're writing them.
right.
And John was the one that said, hey, look, I've got a group of people, I've got singers, I've got my crowd. So he took that upstream, and the sax came back to me and kind of like, here's four impressions of us, and then we sort of you assemble and you put things together. So it's different. It wasn't ideal, but I love that John will take things to another level. Like I didn't see that coming. I really
Yeah.
didn't. I
Wow.
didn't. He heard it as a probably like as a Mad Dogs and Englishmen kind of
Right.
record. I'm going like, oh, okay, I'm just going. It's just a, you know, but yeah. So that was. I got to say and then we've got another guy, Mike Pasterzi, who's our exec, I will call him. He sort of curates because we have a lot of material, and Mike will actually say, look, this is probably for the band. These are the songs. Look, that's a cool song, probably needs to, but he's the one who made the assembly of this record. He actually picked the 10 songs and made the record. Because once again, I'm like Mr. Magoo. I'm like, I don't know, here's some songs.
Yeah, man, I mean, it's a great set. It really is great ebb and flow to the record. The sequencing of the record really works for me.
That's all Mike. That's Mike. I got, give credit where credit's due. And
yeah,
but yeah, and it is a fun set. We actually played it. We played a gig a few months back, and we just kind of played it like, let's just learn these songs,
yeah,
let's just learn them and play them down. And like, let's just and they got better. That's what happens.
yep,
You throw it in front of a band, and after about 3 days of playing them, I went like, well, that's pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah, but and then John gets into a whole regret mode, like, man, we should go back and recut it. I'm like, dude, time goes one way. You know what I mean?
right, right.
It only goes one way, man. It's like you put a pin in it and you get moving. So it's but yeah, I really feel that the band has a lot of juice in the grape. There's a lot here that can be exploited. We haven't
Yeah,
even not begun to fight, you
it's
know.
cool. So, we're looking at, this is not a one-off thing. We'll probably maybe get a second record.
Well, I sure hope so. I mean, I really
Yeah,
would like to. I mean, we've got plenty of material to dig in on another one. And then there's always, I'm from the school that the best song I'm gonna hear is the one I'm gonna write tomorrow. I really believe that. I'm so stupid that
yeah,
I'm like, hey man, I think the best thing I got is probably coming tomorrow morning. And so uh, the whole this whole thing is ongoing. It's a great group of guys. They're funny, they're smart, they're kind of all weathered in a nice way.
right.
There's no newbie here,
Yeah, yeah. No rookies. That's always good.
We got a couple greenhorns every once in a while. We get some rookie mistakes, but overall they can take it, and dish it out. I get
Yeah.
I get it. I get the pie in the face just as often as I give one.
That's great, man. That's really cool. You had a number one country hit with Back When with Tim McGraw. You've performed on some of the most iconic songs in music history, with the Heartbreakers. Is there one particular song that you've been involved with that means the most to you, that hits you in the heart?
I've had like almost three careers. You know what I mean? I was a
Right.
drummer, and
Yeah.
I got to sing with Tom, who was wonderful to learn, that. So I have, and then, writing and co-collaborating and then, producing. And so I've had this really cool, like, I don't know, it just keeps coming. So yeah, I mean, I can't really just answer that. As a drummer, I had some really fun moments. Like I love, like Stop Dragging My Heart, getting to play with Duck Dunn. And
Yeah.
I love the first record we did together with the band was so quick and chaotic and um puerile. It was almost like feral,
Yeah.
guys so I love that. Maybe like American Girl, I still think is pretty cute. It's
Yep.
nothing wrong with that. To say
Nope.
like as a teenager I did that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Then as a writer, I've had some pretty cool moments. With Don Henley, who's took me under his wing and taught me his process and allowed me to be in the room with him when amazing things were going down and let me be part of his writing. I got that was extraordinary. And then and in this project, I hope to look back on it. Right now it's too new. When
Right.
I hope in 5 years, we're working on the third record and I go, man, I really like that song off that first record. But
Yeah.
I've had I've had really you didn't know it at the time because it was usually stressful, or you didn't really know even what you were doing. But it's nice when you can look back and go, yeah, that one holds up. That holds up.
Yeah. For sure. For you, you got a lot of those, man. It's crazy.
But
Uh,
that's just a quote. Look, man, it, it sometimes I feel like I don't mean to sell it short, but I deal in bulk. I've done so much,
right.
so really when I look back and I go, wow, that's a lot. Some of it ought to have stuck to the wall. Or that would be really embarrassing to say like, yeah, I've been doing this so long and you never heard any of it. That would be a
Right.
drag. That would be like, well, maybe you're in the wrong racket. You know.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a day goes by where I don't hear Stan Lynch on drums. I mean, wherever you go, you're there. It's pretty cool.
That's the enduring catalog. That's credit to Tom's songwriting.
Of
That's
course,
credit.
yeah.
Uh, that's credit to the time. There was a a good fortune to be right in that nice little area where rock and roll was still. Um, it wasn't packaged. It was still a lightning in a bottle kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Like
totally.
some of those old records really are. You can't duplicate them.
Yeah,
If we were all still around, couldn't go in the room and do that again. It's
yeah,
like, I don't know, I mean, like it's before click tracks and before they were performances.
yep.
They were actual performances. And so that uh I hear that now when I hear back to some older stuff, I go, yeah, there's a quality that you won't hear in music today. It's sort of evaporated. It's not the coin of the realm. It's not what people want to hear anymore. So
Yeah,
I still find it incredibly seductive and attractive to
yeah,
hear bands playing off the floor and bonding and grinding and trying and fighting. And I love collectors' mistakes. I love all that stuff.
yeah, yeah, totally, totally. There's a rawness and an organic feel to it. It's real. You know,
I, working without a net and that whole thing, and that's where guys like it's very reassuring when you're working with guys like Dylan, and you're in his band, and you go, this guy is fearless. He don't he don't care about your rule book don't mean nothing to him. So it's that to I've learned a lot from being in a lot of different rooms over the years, and and it validates some of your processes. It helps. You go like,
yeah,
oh, that gives you more courage to move in that direction. When you see someone you admire who's so fearless and soulful, and
yeah.
you just go, man, okay, I'll take a little of that if I can.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I mean, working with so many people like you did, and you have in the past, and you continue to do, it's they're different people though too, so you get these different views,
Oh.
I mean, it's just incredible. You know, I just watched the Peter Bogdanovich documentary. 4 hours running down a dream. Uh, there's so much there to absorb.
Mm.
Uh, and seeing you guys work with all of these different people, it had to have a big influence on the way you approach songs, the way you play them. Just because everybody was had a different take on things. It was really interesting.
You, you get a lot of tools in the toolbox, you know,
Yeah,
you really do. It's like there were things I didn't appreciate about Jeff Lynne's production until I was learning to, during COVID, I'm having to work file sharing and you're doing things one at a time. And
yeah,
that very much his process and
yep,
his discipline is very much like to create. He builds, or at least my perception is that Jeff Lynne's, he builds, like this is, we start here, we add this, we do. So I found that objectionable at the time because I was
right,
just coming off of a Dylan tour and I was anarchy. You know what I mean? I wanted that. I
yeah.
wanted, and his discipline was confounding. And now, and now I find myself decades later in front of a computer looking at the speakers going, what would Jeff Lynne do? Oh, that's familiar. Oh, what I'm hearing right now is familiar. I have control of this. And there's a lot to be learned from people. You don't realize it at the time, but if you're fortunate enough to not get chucked out of the room and maybe have just kept your mouth shut for 5 minutes, you might have learned something. And I learned a lot from Don Henley and Danny Korchmeyer. Those guys, their process is super disciplined, and it's very, they're very tolerant of repetition and experimentation. And so that was foreign to me at the time too, and frustrating. Like, because I'm going, why is this taking so long? And
Yeah,
now I realize because exploration does, it does take time. Like, to the discipline of finding out, is this our best? And
yeah,
in the, so yeah, all of these guys have added tremendous value to me. And like I said, my toolbox is pretty pretty good. Like I can probably pull out something to make that work.
right, right. Yeah, and I look at the list of producers that you've worked with. Early on, you're a kid. You come in with Denny Cordell. Uh,
Mm.
I mean that. That's very fortunate. As what were you, 19 or something like that?
Yeah, he's probably around 20 years old around there.
Yeah,
Yeah, Denny's the coolest Englishman, the coolest guy in the world.
yeah,
He literally is the coolest guy I've ever met. And he's so soulful and so non interested in the technical. He's only interested in the feel and the
yeah,
groove, which when you're a kid is really, you ask people to quantify that for you because you're looking to understand what that means. And he's this English debonair man just going, well, man, we just got to get the right groove.
right,
Like, oh, I'm way in over my head already.
right.
Fortunately, guys like Jim Keltner are around to help you explain it, and and really fortunate,
Ah,
to have walked into these rooms and had these guys, these big brothers to shepherd you around, or just been amazing.
ah. Now, there's one part I see the interaction with Jimmy Iovine,
Mm.
of course, and that was, the big moments, the really thriving breakout part of, the Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Damn the Torpedoes and things like that.
Absolutely.
Um, I hear Benmont say that he didn't like how Jimmy came down on you guys, and there was this thing with your drumming and Tom's voice that he couldn't quite get. And he's a real New York guy. He's the cab driver who's going to tell you how it is.
Oh yeah.
So there wasn't, it didn't seem like you and Jimmy kind of saw eye to eye a lot of times. When you look back, is there, kind of like with Jeff, where you go, wow, now I get it. Do you do the same with Jimmy?
Oh yeah, of
Yeah,
course. You see yourself, it's a different lifetime. When I
right.
see that, I look back and I see that guy and I see Jimmy. Um, Jimmy was given a job, to produce a band, and he's a song guy first. He so I didn't really even understand all that yet, that he had hit songs to protect, is what I see now. This is his process is going, look, I got these great songs. I got this great singer. I got a guy as a delivery system who's second to none. And I want to make sure that I don't fumble the ball with the wrong record,
Right.
because you can lose your song so easily. Wrong drum track, wrong singer, wrong key, wrong mix, wrong speed. I mean, there's so many ways to lose a great song. I mean, oh, you know, and Jimmy wasn't going to do that. So he did a full Secret Service leap on the songs and on Tom. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so I think he saw probably what I was doing as impeding that.
Okay.
I didn't know that because I don't think anybody's communication skills were particularly good back then.
Okay.
And they were all under a lot of pressure. Everyone was under pressure.
Yeah.
And so Jimmy was more like, if another bummer, another drummer. He was almost that simple. Like, whatever this is, it's not working. Bring me someone else. And
Good.
I don't think he was correct in that assumption, but I can understand absolutely the him going like, I just got to make a hit record. That's
Right.
end of conversation. And I think I didn't even realize it too, that probably the third album, our career would have been over had we not had a hit album. Could
Yeah.
have been over. And so I'm very grateful that my tracks made it on those records.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that they've held up over the test of time. I think anybody listening, even Jimmy, I would imagine, probably goes, oh, it ain't that bad. I don't know what the fuss was about, but I get it. If he maybe, and he heard something different in his, I don't know. We never had a chance to talk about it,
Right.
but
Right.
I would love that conversation.
I would
Just,
imagine. Yeah.
it would be fun for me to pour him a drink and go, how do you feel about it now? Or was it worth it? Or was it, do you still think the drum tracks are rotten? I don't
Right.
know. I'm I'm proud of mostly I stand behind, look, there's a couple clunky moments where I go, yeah, that drummer probably, what he knows now, wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't do that now. But,
Right.
man, hindsight, you got to be kidding me, man.
Oh,
Like,
it's incredible. It really is. I just, and you hear so much in that documentary of people saying it's Stan's not there. It's just not the same. It's just it's we just can't get it. And it's like there was a certain magic. There was a chemistry.
well, we were a band.
Yeah.
There's just no way around it. We all got together with a common purpose. We all had common goals, and we were equally desperate and
Yeah.
crazy, and we grew up drinking the same water, literally. I mean, so we all marinated in the same stew, and it was pretty natural that we adapted to each other, especially all those early years we were on the road. We played a lot of gigs,
Yeah.
so we adapted to each other's body language. And there was, like I said, we were pretty monosyllabic
Yeah.
as communicators with each other, like, yep, nope, you
Right.
know. So we weren't a demonstrative group, but when we played, you could just sort of, you knew on instinct, that's pretty good. You
Yep.
know, we weren't afraid to admit it. And Tom wasn't afraid to admit it. Like, that's pretty good. Let him chew on that for a minute,
Yeah.
like, and we were a little arrogant, which I think is probably good too.
Right.
We we were a good band, and
Yeah.
that's pretty much the bottom line is I think, people say, why do you think your band made it and other people didn't? Because ours was good.
Right. No doubt. No doubt. Uh, Tom passes in 2017. It's right off of it. It shocked me because he's coming off of the 40th anniversary tour thing, and I mean, the toxicology report shocked me. I didn't know that he was in that much pain. I didn't know that there was that big cocktail of painkillers and things like that. And the overdose, is they say, is what took him. Did that surprise you when you heard that? Did you know what was going on, or did that come as a big shock to you?
I I had very little contact with the band once I was done with them.
Right,
Once my tenure was over, I spoke to Ben occasionally. The rest of the guys I had no contact with. I saw him at the Hall of Fame induction,
right,
and I got to speak briefly, but it was an awkward time because they had a new drummer, and I'm like, I don't know, why. It wasn't. So in answer to your question, I was angry more than anything. I was really pissed off because on a personal level, I was pissed because I didn't get enough closure. I didn't have enough time to explain what he meant to me, what this music meant to my life. I had a brief moment where at rehearsals where I got to make my point to Tom, but it was, there was a cacophony of things
right.
going on. And uh, so when I got the word, um, yeah, I probably the overwhelming thing was like, I don't know. I don't even know. It defies description. I
Yeah,
was disappointed personally. I didn't even know how to accept what it meant to all the other people around, like, Tom's wife, like, I mean, it killed me on a million different levels, man. And the more I think about it, it's hard for me to even, I can't put it in a box. I really can't. I can't tell you, oh yeah, I've processed it. I'll never process it, man. Because I'm still having dreams where we're having dinner and laughing and, and he's passing me a joint and he's, I'm still working it out. But I'm really fortunate that all those guys came into my life, and
yeah,
I wish I wish they lived to be 100 and I wished I lived to be one day less.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
I never want to see my friends leave,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. And it's weird. And I think that's the power of what you guys did together. I kind of feel that as a fan. It was just I don't know. I felt like I lost a piece of myself. It was really it's one of those things where y y that was provided. There was so much provided for my life, and for millions of people,
Mm.
um, and it stops. It's a strange thing.
Yeah, oddly enough, when I think his when Tom died, it almost reconnected me to them because I was pretty removed. I'd already, my life had taken a whole nother, I was on a whole nother journey,
Right.
and I really wasn't that interested in the band when I wasn't interested in it. I had other energies and other things to do. But when I got the word, it reconnected me to so many emotions and pulled me. I mean, literally, I'm watching TV and they're showing Tom and the band and I'm going, whoa! It was like I was pulled right back into all of that again. So I don't know. I mean, I just yeah, I wished I'd had that I wish I'd gotten to do the second set. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
these, not even musically, just emotionally, spiritually. I
right.
love to take that car ride with him, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Is there a moment, you mentioned Dylan and playing in his band and what a highlight that's got to be. All of you huge fans, of course, maybe the greatest songwriter of our time. You've had those moments throughout your career, playing it, just all kinds of great artists coming in and people you admired and you grew up idolizing and learning from them and playing with them. Um, do you have a proudest moment, a moment that just tops everything for you?
The whole thing. No, I don't have a apex moment. I mean, it's I mean, at the risk of sounding ridiculous, it's almost like today. It's like, I mean, I wake up and I go, it all happened. You know,
Yeah.
it's like I can't, I mean, it's like there was the song John and I wrote about, every lie come true. It's like, I mean, everything that I said when I was a little boy, all my wish lists and my BS, and it all came to pass and then some.
So cool.
So every day is a reflection. I mean, I wake up with gratitude, pretty much the overwhelming emotion in the morning. I go, I got to do all of that, you know? And I know there's a line of guys from here to Arkansas that would have loved my worst day, you
Yep.
know, like, they would have taken it. And it's like, I got to play in one of the great all-time bands. I got to work with some of the best artists and singers in the world. And and I'm still here to talk about it. And it's supported me, unbelievably. So what's my problem?
It's pretty great, man, and I love your story. I just love that it's homegrown. It's really I love watching somebody's dreams come true, and I mean, like I say, you've put the fabric in so many lives. You're such a big part of that, and it's really special, man.
Well, it's been extraordinary, and I want more. I'm not greedy, but I don't want to stop. It's like it, I guess at some point you will, obviously we all, eventually we all
Yeah.
punch out. But it's like in the meantime, I don't really want to even consider an option that doesn't involve creativity and joy and laughter and stupidity and continuing an education, all of the above,
Yeah.
like that's I don't want to even consider a life without it. Uh, I love the fact that the Heartbreakers, Ron and Mike and Ben are all still here. And
Yep.
I love the possibility that maybe one day we'll all get in a room and make noise.
Yep.
That would be fantastic. And in
Yep.
the meantime, I'm glad that they've stayed my friends and that
Yep.
there's love and respect. And it's extraordinary,
It is, man. It really is. And as a fan, I can tell you there's wow, I hold those same hopes. It's really and I just love even if nothing happens on the music side of it, I just love that you guys love each other and you're friends and that's what it's about, man. It really
It's
is.
the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really the only thing.
Yeah.
It's like without that, there is no next conversation.
Yeah.
There really isn't. It's like
Yeah.
if that isn't there baked in, then it's like, I don't know, just pass the salt. Let's go.
Right.
Like move on. But well, good. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking an interest in the new band, and I
Yeah.
listeners take a minute. I think we've got 3 videos. I think we got 2 out now and one more coming next month. A record comes out in May. Give it a listen. We appreciate your support. We want to get out there on the road. We want to get to work.
You do. You want to get out on the road.
Of course. Yeah, it'd be
Awesome.
fun, man. That's where it really gets interesting.
Yeah, man. We'd love to see you for sure.
Yeah, that's where it
Uh,
gets really ridiculous.
you ever consider writing your story, doing the autobiography?
There's so many out there, and
Yeah,
Mike just put one out. I
he
want to
did.
read his, and he might cover it, you know.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
yeah. I mean, there is a lot on the band, and the Heartbreakers and stuff like that. But you got so much more. You really do. It's pretty cool to your whole story from beginning to end. Well, to the present, is really great, man.
but ain't over yet, man.
Yeah, I see that. It's so good. It's so
Ain't over.
great.
No, I think it's like, it was kind of hard enough to live it. I'm not sure I want to relive it. I'm not sure. I'm just not sure. But in the
Well,
meantime, I got a lot of living to do right now. So
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
reflection is not really a big part of my life, but hey, there could come a time. Who knows? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
But
it's cool. Well, we hope to see here in Chicago, and as you said, the record comes out May 30th on Frontiers, and everybody take a listen. It's a great listen, man. Stan
that'll
Lynch, thank you, man. Thank you
great,
so
man.
much. Such an honor.
I'll talk to you soon.
All right, I appreciate you, man.
Later.
All right, bye.
Bye.